Biggie Smalls is the illest.
Occasionally, I do something called the 5-star shout out. I'm not gonna say it because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in you can't make a you know what I'm talking about.
And we up in this joint. We ain't snoring. We here for importance. I'm happy we here. Again, good morning. A little late, but good morning. Technical difficulties do be hitting us. I tried something new today, though. It was my fault. I tried something new. It ain't work out like I wanted it to. So we back. We're back. Side Jawn is here. It's me and the chocolate girl.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? In the Thinkers Podcast.
Yes.
Girl Sharon Mullen, the chocolate girl in the house. Well, glad to be here on Saturday morning, my favorite day of the week.
That's right. That's right. Listen. Now, this is a special guest, but he's been on a couple times. Yep. He is like family to us now. Family. You know, he ain't just a guest, he is family. You know, he come to Thanksgiving, he got a seat. You understand what I'm saying? Like he playing cards.
He got drunk.
All right. They already know what drink he want. They got him set up. You understand me? All right. But listen, we got the love doctor, the family doctor. Okay, the counselor of all counselors, ladies and gentlemen, Lynn Sturvant is in the building. All right.
Yes, we need to get that applause sounder. Yay!
Yeah.
What's up? How y'all is?
We
doing good. We glad to have you here.
Absolutely.
We got some questions for you.
Okay.
We got some questions for you. We want to know. First thing I want to know, though, you know, I'm asked the guests first. We usually ask this every week. How was your week?
It was not bad. Trying to get the side hustle up and running. So it's okay. I'm getting there.
You got a side hustle?
I'm about to say, what's the side hustle?
If you hire applicants, what I do is I vet those applicants and I let you know whether or not you should hire them.
Oh, like a personality test.
I do a personality assessment. The one thing you can't hide is your personality. So I can lie on the resume, I can lie in the interview, and sometimes my gut instinct is wrong. Mm-hmm. So we take all those things, set them to the side. I come in and I do 24 personality trait assessment, and I'll let you know up front, this person's good to go. This person, you probably should stay away from them. Save you a lot of money, turnover, training, overtime, all that stuff.
Interesting. All right, Sister Sheila in the comments, you might need to hire Lynn for that, for your applicants.
Probably.
Well,
Sharon, how was your week, Sharon?
My week actually has been very good. I have no complaints about the week. My Steelers won last weekend, so I've carried that with me all week. My Spartans didn't win though, but that's a whole nother toxic story.
That is a toxic story. Toxic. You are absolutely right.
But,
you are absolutely right. I'm glad.
Good though. My week's been good.
I'm glad Lynn is here to talk about those type of toxic work sexual relationships.
Yep.
I'm glad he's here for that. You know,
Ruh-roh. That's why
Work
people leave the job. The
work
number
and
one.
sexual are not supposed to be in the same sense.
No,
Not
we
work.
always hold on, Sharon. What
Unless you work in the sex industry.
I
That's
got you.
something else.
What do I always tell you? You spend more time
Yeah,
at work
there's no
than you
excuse.
do with your spouse.
No excuse.
I'm just telling you how it happens.
No excuse.
well, toxic relationships, that's the number one reason people leave. It ain't the money, it's that toxic manager.
That's
And
right.
and that manager's just on you for some reason. And
Mm-hmm.
then they have, these toxic managers practice what's the word, where you bring in other folks like yourself, and they just fill up the place with replicates of themselves. And so if you're a sensitive person, if you have empathy, if you're a nurturer, then it's going to be really tough to be in that environment because everybody will be attracted to you.
Mm.
Makes people
Yeah.
leave. Too much. It's too much. It's too intense. You get bullied. You'll get notes. People blame stuff on you. You're an instant threat because you have the potential to make people look bad.
Oh, really?
Mm, Been there, done that.
Yeah.
So all threats have to be eliminated.
Okay. Mm. Oh,
No,
let me just say before you go a little further. I'm gonna go a little further than that. My week was good. I had a good week. Things been going by pretty good. Um, Getting better. We about to start off a new month, October tomorrow. So things are going to be getting very, very better as time goes on. But I want to get back to that, to work relationships, and work sexual relationships. Let me say that. They usually start off innocent and then they go to the left. And I always believe it's because you spend most of your time at work. You do more talking at work than you do actually at the house. That's what I always felt. Sharon says she don't give a damn how much talking you're doing. It shouldn't happen. I
No,
agree with you, Sharon,
it
but
should. It should.
it's happening on some big stages. That's really like confusing me. Like people are losing $1 million jobs to sex.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous, actually.
It sure is.
Ain't
But
no amount of
I wouldn't
ass
mess with my
worth
money.
losing $80 million.
Well,
80, not 80.
you don't get your honey where you make your money. So
Yeah,
that's old.
they say you shouldn't eat where you poop. That's what they say. But I've noticed that there's been a lot of good relationships that come out of that. I mean, even at the workplace, there's actually laws there that, well, they got their laws that say you can't date at the workplace.
Yeah, some places do have it
Some places,
like
not
that.
all. Some places say that.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Those
Well, I
certain
know a specific situation. Um, this guy and girl was dating at the workplace, and they were sneaking behind and doing it until a point they started living together. And when they went to go get married, he had to quit the job first. Then most of the people they invited to the wedding was from the job.
exactly. Exactly.
I'm just telling you, listen, I'm telling you, this is some of the stuff I've been seeing, and the attraction is too good, and I'm trying to figure out how do you let sex interrupt paying your bills or living a better lifestyle? Work stuff.
It well, what men are attracted to is the look. Men are very visual. Women are very auditory. So if I'm getting some attention at work that I can't get no place else, then I'll probably, you know, select a mate from that environment. Usually, sometimes, kind of depends. Uh-oh.
Yeah, but
Did we lose?
I understand is the well, you know what, that makes sense. You have work. You want to be, you want to feel good at work because you don't like going to work like, I'm going to work. You actually want to be excited to go to work. And if you see somebody there that excites you and has you happy to be there, you do grow an attraction to them.
That is, it's a reflection. What men thrive on is that reflection. So if when this woman looks at me and she gets all googly eyed and stuff, it feels like I'm being restored. So I'm looking forward to getting that look when I go to work because this woman's going to look at me. She's going to give me those flirtatious eyes, and that So what I fall in love with is that reflection that I get from the opposite sex. I
Okay.
get that. So it's like, wow, I'm excited to go to work because I don't get, if I'm not getting that reflection at home like I should, then I'm
No.
going to seek it. So you get to work and you get all that reflection, and it can start you going down the rabbit hole.
Yes. That's absolutely right. You could go down the rabbit hole. And it's kind of crazy because then after sex, let's just say you had sex and it was just supposed to be a good time. After sex, it usually don't just be a good time. Something else happened. Now they upset because somebody else didn't give you them googly eyes, and and then
Right.
you done moved on to something different.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
and
unfortunate.
yeah, B said the rabbit hole is a slippery slope. It is, man. It is.
It is.
I was a guy that dibbled and dabbled in my work day love life, but it was all right. I haven't had no blowbacks. I don't know how those happen to people because I established my stuff from the beginning, and we had our conversations. Never had no blowbacks. I can say. Well, let me not say never. Never know what they happen later. But haven't had any blowbacks. Everything has just been good. I don't know how these guys end up in the news. Coaches, uh, players, and CEOs, and all that losing jobs to sex misconduct, sexual harassment. I don't even know how
I
that's
know
happening.
how. I tell you how it happens. So my inner child, right? My inner child, if you're not careful, your inner child will pick the people you date.
You
So,
do, you do make sure that you focus on that inner child. I
oh
gotta give
yeah,
you that.
yeah. Because what happens is, and I'll tell you when it wears off. So your inner child will go, "Oh, she's cute, man. You go for her. She's all right," and you get with her. Once you cross that line, once you cross that sexual line, then what happens is your inner child goes, "That's a little too much for me to handle. I got to run like most children do." And now my adult part comes in, and my adult part goes, "Oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. I didn't mean it. It didn't mean anything. I'm sorry." So your adult has to correct what your inner child messes up. So that cycle, you have to feel it when that switch is happening. What I try to teach my clients is when you feel that inner child trying to take the steering wheel, you go, you tell that inner child, "Nope, I got this," because the inner child wants you to feel good, right? And a lot of people say, "What inner child?" It's like, well, that's that part of you got distracted from growing up. You never got to know. And when I ask people, how do you love yourself? That's what I'm referring to. How do you love the inner child? Because it's there. Oftentimes it's wounded. Stuff that
Yeah.
happened 20 years ago, there's a part of your memory that has no sense of time. 2 years ago, 20 years ago, don't matter. It's waiting to fulfill that part. Like, and here's the deja vu moment. It happens a lot.
All right. We got Trisha Joy in the building. She says, "Why do men pick the girl that they don't actually like?" You see, is the physical attraction that got you there for men. Now, Trisha, I got a question for you. Why do women pick the men that they don't actually like?
It's convenience.
Mm, it's
And
cool.
if
It's
I'm
cool when
a
they
if
do.
I'm a date if I'm a date up, right? Or people date up, people date down. If I'm dating down, you're a convenience. If I date up, then I'm a saint, right? So if I'm in a superior, see, what the ideal dating situation is to date right here. You want to be here,
Right,
equal,
equal level. That's what you.
right?
That's what I thought until I actually met some girls that don't date here. They
Oh,
told
I
me
try to
they
date up,
date.
right?
No, no, they don't date up. They date down
On purpose. That's
on
rare.
purpose. On purpose, they date down because they say the guys that they meet when they date down actually do a lot more sexually than the guys they meet when they date up. That's what they told me.
Right, right. I know what you're saying. Yeah, but they ain't got a 401k. They ain't got no
Ain't,
insurance.
they ain't worried about that. They not worried about none of that. That's not what they was worried about. The guys that you meet when you date up, because you date a guy that's up or on your same level. This is what they told me. They said they not doing a lot of that sexual stuff that you want because they feel as though they got things to do. They got money to go make. That's not the issue right now. You know, they up 4 in the morning, worried about business. They take a nap at 11 a.m. and they back at it all the way until 10 and then back to sleep.
Mm-hmm. I understand that.
But they said when they date down, that guy's always there, they're available, they can talk to him, they got a confidant, they got everything. Money ain't really the issue because they make enough for the both of them.
Yeah,
Long
but
as
they're
he
not.
can be there, pay the bills that I need him to pay, to pay and everything, that's fine. I have met women like this, and then Sharon always be like, "Where you meet these women?" I'm like, I met women like this, and this is what they like. And you'll see these type of women out, and you'll be like I know a couple girls that are like CEOs and big bosses and making a bunch of money, and then you'll see them with the raggediest looking waka, and you'll be like,
Well, I
"That's the
mean, but
guy."
she's in control though. If you want to measure of safety, then you date down because the person dating up is always trying to please you. Always, that's their job, please you.
Right.
That part. So if you date down out of convenience and power, see, it's a challenge to date on your level, right? But this is where it's happening right here.
Yeah, but they always say, "Oh, I can't meet a guy that's on my level." So then you introduce them to a guy that's actually on their level because you know who these women are because you done grew up with them around the way and all that. So you're like, "Oh, I know somebody that's on your level. He's single." They meet a guy on their level, quick flaws, they out of it.
Right.
But
Well,
but 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 Billy Ray round the way, Billy Ray got every flaw in the world. He cool though. I like him. He fun.
well, the person you should be with, you're not going to be attracted to
Mm,
initially.
you gotta say that again.
The person you should be with, you're not going to be attracted to them. There's nothing there for you to fix. There's nothing for you to do. I mean, here's somebody who comes in, grown ass man, grown ass woman, and there's nothing for you to fix or tend to. But if you get into if you've associated abuse with love, then now there's something for me to do. You know, I, I can love you back to health, or I can fix you, or I can tend to you. And if you grew up that child in that family who was the caretaker, you'll be attracted to a guy that needs to be taken care of, or vice versa.
Right, right. And men and ladies, Trisha and Sister Sheila, men do date down. Y'all absolutely right. Men date down because well, I know for sure when I was dating down, strictly sexual. I can say that for myself. It was strictly sexual that I was dating. That's what it was. Strictly sexual. I I needed a super freak at all times, on demand, like cable used to be, on demand. Super freak.
Yeah, until that
That's
oops
what I can
baby
say
come into
about
the
me at that time. I ain't dating down now, but
yeah,
at that
right.
time,
But
super freak on demand.
yeah, but the oops baby changed that. Oops
Yeah,
baby.
you get you, and if you stay there long enough, you might get a oops and a
Oh,
damn
you
baby.
gonna get you keep swinging, you gonna get a oops.
You gonna get a oops. You must not get a oops and a damn. You know what I mean? And if you stay there even longer, you get a oops, damn, and oh shit. Like that's how I go. All right, I've seen it happen. So
That
I've
part,
definitely seen it happen. Yeah, but
that changes
it's
everything.
other reasons. It's other reasons that dating up, not just money. Trisha's absolutely right about that. Um, people, date up for, I want to say, intelligence is what I want to say. Dating up for intelligence, dating up for, to do something different. Because a lot of people just stay in what I like to call a matrix. Like when you stay in that same circle, you just wake up, go to work, stay in your neighborhood, might go to 2 or 3 little outings or something like that. That's like getting caught in the matrix, what I like to say.
Mhm.
And you got to get out of that web because if you stay in that web, you're gonna keep meeting the same type of people, and then you'll have those conversations like, it ain't nothing out there for me.
And see, and as long as you continue, as long as your words keep coming out your mouth, that's the energy you give off. And, oh, I can't find nobody, nobody's out there for me. If you keep saying that stuff, the universe conforms to what you say.
All
You
right,
can't say that. You got to change your language. Language is energy.
you definitely do got to change your language, and you gotta go out, you gotta do things different.
You have to.
You can't just be doing the
You're
same
going
thing.
to
You gotta
change
change
the
it.
picture. Because out of 100 people, you may be interested in about 6. Who wants to go through a volume of 94 people to find 6? It's a lot.
Nobody. That's a
Nobody.
lot of
Nobody
work.
wants to do that. So
Yeah, you might only be interested in 6. That's a lot of work. But
that's
see,
a lot of work.
if you get out that matrix and actually go see something different and get out your comfort zone, which I call matrix, get out of that and just go somewhere else, you
Right.
might see something different.
Right. And you've got to, but you have to have, if you don't know how to love yourself, you're not going to know how to be in a love relationship.
A
You
lot of
can't
people,
do it.
a lot of people believe that they do know how to love themselves and they don't.
They
So how
don't.
you
They
gonna
don't have
fix
a
that?
clue. Correct. Correct. They don't have a clue as to how to love themselves because it wasn't modeled. My mom didn't love herself. My dad didn't love himself. I never seen it modeled. So when I ask the question, how do you love yourself? I get a lot of, I don't know. I never really thought about it. You've been distracted from knowing who you are at the core. How can I be in a love relationship and I don't know how to love myself? If I don't know how to love myself, I'll make you take care of me.
Exactly.
That part. Then that's what people
Comfort.
get tired of. That's what drives them out of the relationship. I'm tired of taking care of you.
Right. It's always
Yeah.
do you. What
Right.
about let's do us. Keep doing you.
Mm-hmm. True. True.
It's terrible. It's definitely terrible. It's something to work on. But I had to get that question out first because I just couldn't believe so many people were out there losing multi-million-dollar jobs for sex. I couldn't believe it. Like you could have got that sex anytime.
Well, the moment they snapped out of it, the inner child went back to the inner, and then the adult part came in and said, "Oh, oh shit, I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. It shouldn't have happened." Da da da. You get sober when you swap back into your adult self. You know, with all them guys, with Trump who was climbing the walls and stuff. Once they got cuffed up and put on that orange jumper, the adult part came back in. It's like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. That was crazy. I wasn't myself. You hear all these excuses. So your relationship to your inner child will dictate who you date. Because if we're attracted to people who remind us of the parent that gave us the hardest time. You can't not do it. And every time I ask the question, does your husband or your significant other, your wife, who do they remind you of? Mom or dad? Oh, she clearly reminds me of my mama. I'll hear it. I mean, they admit it. It's like wow, you want to date your mama? Well, no, I don't really want to date my mom, but see, mom left a void in me. And so what your inner child, the imago or the image, you'll be in a room with 100 women or 100 men, and you'll ask the person next to you, yo, dude, who's that right there? Who that right there? It's like those frequencies align.
Yeah,
I've done it. You've done it. We've all done it.
we've all done it.
There's
Trisha
100.
Joy got a question. She said, "Why is everything blamed on the inner child?"
Because no one understands it. No one's ever taught about it. If you don't have a relationship with your inner child, it can make you lead you to do all kinds of things that your adult part has to come in and fix. No, they don't even teach it in class. I took a bunch of psychology classes. Don't nobody teach. I learned about inner child through John Bradshaw. It's my favorite inner child person who really broke it down. And once I made the connection, I connected all the dots. My inner child went and bought that BMW X6 out there because he wanted to feel prestigious. I'm driving home going, how the hell am I gonna pay for it? I didn't have an understanding. I didn't have a relationship. Your inner child spends a lot of your money. The first thing you get a chunk of money, the first thing you do is gratify yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of putting the money in, a stock or a bond or investing in a business, first thing you do is you go out and get a car. That's the first thing I did.
Me, I remember when I first got a nice lump sum of money, I went and bought some sneakers. The first thing I did, went and bought some sneakers. As soon as I got a nice lump sum, went and paid all the bills. Not too long, a couple months ago. After that, went right to the sneaker store, bought some sneakers.
Right. See, and that's what we do, and then, but your mind is, we're going back to zero. So you get this big lump sum of money, you pay all your bills, you do this, and about 7-8 months into it, you're right back. You're zero. All the bills are paid, but you're right back at zero. It's like, damn, how did I get here? When you could have put that and made an investment in a business, you could have made an invest that money into something that's going to give you a return. See, and this is what separates rich people from poor people. Ain't no return on sneakers. Ain't no return on no damn car. Take that $20,000 and put it down on a house or condo.
There's a return on that.
Stop paying rent.
Trisha said no one she's dated reminded her of her peers.
Did they remind you of? It could be a caretaker. Could be grandma, right? Could be my aunt that I grew up with. So we have to get a little granular on that to find out, because your style came from somewhere. You people who you pick, it came from something or somewhere. Very few. If you don't know how to love yourself, then you're gonna pick. Usually, we pick a caretaker. I could say, pick a caretaker who reminded us of the hardest time we had growing up. So.
She said, my adult child wants a car. My parents said that I was so cheap, it was embarrassing. I would give people coupons. What the fuck?
My adult child.
Just tell me Merry Christmas, all right? Don't give me no fuck coupon.
Yeah. So Trisha, how do you love yourself? That's the question I would ask.
How do you love yourself? Put that in the comments. I'd like to hear that one. But we still got some more questions for you. Sorry about that. I was just stuck. I'm sorry. I was just stuck on that. I was like, all these people losing these jobs and sitting up here letting all this go for some sex. It's crazy. Well, I hope that they had a good enough relationship with whoever it was.
No,
that they left the job.
Nope, won't. Nope. No, nothing ever comes to those relationships except trouble. It's what's that? Well, I forgot the name of that singer. It feels better when I sneak. Ray Parker. Remember, it feels better when I sneak. I'm in love with the other woman. It does. I mean, it's exciting. It's dangerous.
But
You should do it.
it's the thrill. You
It's the
more in
thriller.
love with the thrill than the actual girl that you with.
Thank you.
That's what
Right.
it is. You're more in love
That
with the
part.
thrill.
That reflection. Remember that flexion. Sometimes my reflection needs a little stimulus. So let's go down this road. Now I'm telling you that is all inner child stuff, because my adults part should say, "No, I ain't gonna mess with you. You work here, I work here. Nope, nope, nope. Have a nice day. I love me. I love myself enough not to set myself up for sabotage. I can
I learned
sabotage
that as
myself and go
I
right
learned that as
back
I got
to
older.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
sabotage
she does
myself.
have an answer.
Right. I don't belong in this. I don't belong at this level. I don't need to make millions of dollars. I need to go back to being poor. So let me do something that gets me back there, because what they call this is, I hate it, stats, but it's this term that I love that I adapted. It's called regression towards the mean. So that's me going back to what I know. It's an unconscious action. Most of us are kind of like on this autopilot where I don't deserve imposter syndrome. You hear it a lot of time. I don't really belong on this level. Let me do something. Let me sabotage myself and go back to, where I belong. I can win the lottery, win $200 million, and within 5 years, I'm back to what I know. Regression
Not me.
towards.
I'm not doing that. But I do feel you. I ain't doing. I'm not spending no damn $200 million. That
I've
not
seen
it.
it. You've seen lottery winners go back to broke. You've seen it. It's a pattern.
Right, because you start. I know what it is. You start living a lifestyle that ain't yours. Like, nah, I'm not living that crazy lifestyle. I'm gonna buy me a nice big house, but I ain't doing too much for it. Like I gotta make sure I got enough money to maintain this house.
That's an
I ain't
adult
buying
choice.
me. Yeah, I
That's
ain't buying me.
you're in your adult. See?
Yeah, because you know what it is when you used to living at a certain way and it's comfortable. So when the big money do come around, you don't go crazy on it. You know, all right, it came around, but I know how to survive with $40,000 a year.
Right.
I know how to make things work with $40,000 a year.
Right.
Just because I'm now getting $100,000 a year, don't mean I need to do $100,000 a year things. No, I'm not doing all that. Just to who?
You'll be
Just to show you I make $100,000. I need a 2023 uh, pickup truck. No, I ain't doing all that.
that's your adult in your adult self. You can make those, you'll have those choices available to you in your adult self. But if I'm still trying to satisfy the child part of me that grew up really poor, didn't have shit growing up, didn't stay in a nice house, didn't have a nice car, the child part wants that thing to feel validated, to feel recognized. We
Trisha
all do
Joyce
it.
said the way that she loves herself is doing her nails and the skincare, but that's recent. But she's heavy in the business.
That has absolutely nothing to do with loving yourself.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to say that out loud. I'll let you say it because I didn't want no crazy inbox. I'll
No.
let you say it.
That's those things are external. Um, I'm talking about, how is your heart and your head on the same page? And it's not with something external. I'm talking about something internal. And if you've suffered a lot of trauma, then or some type, what I get is uh, a lot of incest, a lot of molestations, things that went left in childhood that never really got addressed, that never really got fixed, and I kind of live with it. That's bad. That's when stuff happens. You
I
know.
do. I get a lot of stories about. I call it touched. That's what I say. I get a lot of stories about. You know, touched. I've been getting those stories since I've been 13 years old. Was the first time I heard about it,
Oh,
and ever since then, I'll be around, and a girl that I'll meet will tell me a story about a time she was touched.
Mm, mm.
And I had to have a conversation with my grandma because I was like, how do I keep running into all these girls that's been touched? Like, what the hell is going on? Like,
It happens a lot more frequently with Black women. It's a lot more frequent than I initially thought. I was thinking maybe 10, 15%. I think it's in upwards of 50%. That one thing that happened, and you never told, and I get this all the time, I never told a soul that story. So what
right.
happens
I get
is
that.
I
I get that too.
absorb all of that energy. When I absorb that energy into my body, things change. My body changes, my mood changes, my depression, because I keep it in. I don't talk about it. If you don't talk it out, you'll act it out.
Yeah. And then
If
you
you
know what
got
it is?
children,
And I'm gonna tell you what usually happened to me. Um Something I may said or did, and it'd be something that'd be like innocent. Like I think it was this one time I had said something about a red car. And it was in a moment. I think I said something like, "Oh, you shouldn't have been in that raggedy ass red car." And after that, she blew up. I'm like, "What you blowing up for?" Because I said you was in a raggedy red car. Didn't know red car is where she got touched at. Didn't know, you know, that
mm,
all that.
autopilot.
Didn't know none of that. That it had nothing to do with the red car, raggedy red car. Raggedy red car was about that shit needs to be fixed. That's what
Right,
I was talking about. I
right.
had no
That,
idea none of that.
you're trying to go back to that scene to fix it. So it could be a symbol, like a red car. You know,
Right.
my inner child wants to go back and fix it because I'm going to continue to act it out. If I don't talk it out, I'll act it out. So
I had
it's,
a
it's
had another girl blew up on me because I think one of her aunt's boyfriends had tried to talk to her, and she was upset about it. And I was like, "Has he always tried to talk to you?" She was like, "No, just today." I said, "Well, was you wearing something like differently or something like that?" Then she went off when I asked her that, like, not knowing that early in her childhood, people accused her that she was out there fucking around when somebody else was doing something to her.
right. If you don't talk it out, what you do is you carry the offender's shame. You carry it. And if I carry my offender's shame and I don't tell anybody, I'll continue to carry it until I talk it out. I'll act it out until I talk it out.
Mm. Well, she said her heart and her head is in the same place. That's what she said. She said
Okay.
loving yourself is taking care of yourself. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. I understand. I'd have to talk to her personally because there's some pages missing in that story. Something's
yes, it
not
is.
being said because secrets. We the other thing that we carry into relationships is all the secrets. Secrets are devastating, and I didn't talk about my secret, and I go into a love relationship with my secret. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna act it out. I'm gonna act it out every single time until I get help about it. So
Mm.
secrets, shame is about exposure. Shame is about sudden exposure. I don't want you to see that about me. So I send in my representative. See, here I am back here, but I'm gonna let you deal with the representative.
She
When you
said she
date,
ain't got no pages and no secrets.
right?
And I'm
That
sorry to tell you this, Trisha, but you told on yourself. I'm just gonna let you know that.
Yeah. Okay.
Totally so.
Okay. No secrets. No. Perfect.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Totally so.
So you. I know a lot of middle children are perfect like that. Middle child. I'm in the middle. I got an older brother. Got a younger sister. I'm in the middle. Middle
Oh my
children are
goodness.
perfect.
Child. The middle child is something else, man. It is crazy that they all are like that too. That's the bad part. Like, oh yeah, you can tell you're a middle child. That's terrible. That is terrible. How can you just like just on conversation know that you're a middle child? Don't even know your brother and sister. Like, just know you're a middle child on conversation. That is terrible.
They all got
And
characteristics. First
Sister
child.
Sheila said, fortunately, I did not experience childhood drama and trauma, yet I'm still not perfect. No, I'm not perfect either. I got a lot of situations of my own. I can honestly admit that. I'm not a middle child. I was the oldest. Trisha
Mm,
said she ain't the middle child either. And no, not everyone got a page, she said.
okay.
Okay.
All
You
right.
keep saying stuff that just keep adding more and more. I don't know if you notice that you type it, but the more you type it, the more it just keeps saying, I need help. I'm letting you know this, Trisha. Before you type anymore, I need help. This is what you're typing, all right? And she said, no one is perfect. He put that out there. Okay. I ain't gonna
Interesting.
think about it was perfect. I was just saying certain things that you saying in these comments.
Them secrets. I'm telling you. Mm, the secrets will lead me to when you go out on a date with the first time, you're not dating that person, you're dating their representative. And the representative is perfect, says everything right, does everything right. And if the person's paying attention, they'll figure out what you love, figure out your love language. Like, she likes touch, she likes gifts. Uh, I'm going to give her gifts, right?
But hold on, but when you start with the representative for them first 6 months,
Oh, you can. That representative can carry you 22 years into a marriage. I don't ever come out. I don't ever
yeah,
break character. Break character. If I
yeah,
if I break if I showed you who I was the first time, you wouldn't have shit to do with me.
right, right, yeah, that is absolutely right. Somebody came on and gave you the honest truth right then and there, you wouldn't be
Mm-mm,
ready for it.
can't handle that. So I send in my representative. My representative
But
is
see,
perfect.
and then it's because that's what. Okay, I met girls that sent in the representative, and the representative gave out mixed signals. Who your representative is who I fell in love with. Who you are is who I don't like,
Right.
and that's why that honeymoon period in a relationship, that is why that was the best time because that ain't you.
That ain't you. And right after you say I do, all those love hormones leave your body. Dopamine, oxytocin, vasopressin, epinephrine, serotonin. All those hormones leave your body, and then your eyes open, and
And
you
all
have.
honesty, I think all that stuff leaves as soon as she throw that bouquet. I think when she throw that bouquet, like Chris Rock said, when she throw that bouquet, she just threw her coochie. Like as soon as she threw it, like that's just exactly that's what I feel. As soon as she throw that bouquet, just all that stuff is gone.
Gone. All of it. That's funny.
That's just how I feel. I know that was me bringing the past trauma. Man, sorry about
Oh,
that. Joe.
well, no. I mean, look, I'd rather you talk it out than act it out. See,
Hey,
and the problem is people who've worked it out, when they go back into the dating pool, they're still attracting the same people, but this time you've got a different set, you've got a different skill set, so you can talk to most of my clients after they've been with me for about 4 5 maybe 6 sessions. You can see somebody who has narcissistic behavior in the first date. I tell them what to look for, tell them how to recognize it, tell them tell them to test the theory right there. And they go, yeah, Lynn, yeah, this guy, he was perfect. He had everything, had the car, had the job. narcissistic as hell, could not take the answer no. Most narcissists can't take no. You tell them no, that doesn't. I can't work my pixie dust on you if you tell me no. So I told her, I said, meet them there, drive your own car, pay for your own meal, take it away from right. No, no, no. I will pay for my. Nope, nope, nope. You don't have to pick me up because they're looking for reciprocity. I get you obligated. I pick you up. I give you the meal. It's like I keep making these deposits in your emotional bank account, and now it's time for me to cash out. Okay,
Right.
And I'm hoping to cash out with sex. Usually.
Right. That's why those are the two things that are like, to me, those are the two things that are like big deal breakers: sex and money. Sex and money are like the two things that are big deal breakers, and that can ruin friendships and relationships. It can
Absolutely.
really ruin them two things. So me and Sharon, we got we had a mutual friend who went through a whole money situation with some other guys that we know. And, Sharon didn't like the way that people was, talking about him and picking on him. The guys that he went and borrowed the money from, she didn't like the way they was talking about him, picking on him. It was like, they shouldn't be messing with that guy like that. He was going through a downtime. They lent him some money. It took him a little while, but he eventually gave it back. And I'm telling Sharon straight up, Sharon, when it comes to money, leave it alone. I told her straight up. So when it comes to money, leave it alone. Just straight up, just leave it alone. Ain't gonna work out. Things is different when it comes to money.
Yep.
Now, if it was anything else, if it was a he say, she say, you get by that. I've even seen some other stuff. I seen two guys shoot at each other and get by it and been cool. But when it comes to money or sex, it's different.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. Sex is a binding energy. It's glue. It's we want to get to the good part. So let's try being bound out the gate, and we can skip all formality. Let's get to, because people are starving for love. And sex is usually the gateway to love. Sometimes shouldn't be, but it feels good. Feels great. And it'll cloud your thinking because you can't see everything when you get bound up like that. You can't see any of the flaws. You take more shit, being in that when all them hormones are coming down, you allow more things, you take more shit than you normally would. So
we got a couple comments, man. They starting to love you. Hold on. Trisha's back. She said all men think there's baggage, and then I get the question, why don't you have kids? And she said, why don't you have a crazy exes? Oh no, they said both of them. Why don't you have kids and why don't you have crazy exes? Okay.
Yeah, like everybody else. Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough because
Trisha, I can answer this one for you on the why don't you have kids situation. There's a lot of men that if you meet a woman over 35 and if she don't have no kids and if she's never been married, I'm gonna tell you straight up what they think. The coochie's trash. I'm just telling you what they thinking. This is what men say. I'm letting you in the men's circle. If she ain't got no kids and ain't been married over 35, ain't nobody take you seriously, the coochie trash. That's what they think. I ain't say it's true. I'm just telling you what men think. All right. That's why you're going to get these questions. All right. If there's a crazy ex around, all right, he only acting that crazy because the coochie's good. I'm just telling you, you may not like how I said it. I'm letting you into a door you haven't been into. All right.
Yeah, but Dennis, sex is only 20% of the relationship. 20% at best. We're not going to have a relationship based on 20%. It's never going to happen.
Now, Sister Sheila got a good question. Said, how do you get past the rep to find the authentic person. How long does that take? Maybe that's why I'm alone now. I am an authentic from the jump, and they can't or don't want to handle.
Well, it
Mm.
depends on how well they handle being refused or told no. How do they handle it? No, you can't pick me up. No, you can't pay for my meal. No, I'll meet you there. Oh, but I'm a traditional guy. Okay, well let's see the patience because folks like that they ain't got no patience. If they it's why a lot of women and a lot of men get ghosted because I can't work my magic on you. You stopped all the stuff that from you stop it from coming in, and then you get ghosted. I thought it was going well, Lynn. He was nice. He handled. It seemed like he handled the no, and then I ain't heard from him in 5 weeks. Just like that, just ghosted. That's one of the reasons you get ghosted. So
Nah.
yeah, that part. Can't handle
She said,
no.
she said apparently because I don't have a baby father, I'm also a red flag. I gave you my answer, my straight up answer on how I know certain men think. Not all, certain.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's funny because I ain't been. Yeah,
So
yeah,
there is a possibility to get past the rep.
yeah. You do. There's a little thing I like to do. Saying no is part of it. Yeah, and you got to start asking premarital questions. Kind of casual. If we in a relationship and we going through a rough time, would you be cool with going to therapy? Oh no, nah, girl, I'm straight. I don't do therapists. I don't do therapy. I'm good. And I don't play that. I ain't never been. Yeah, have you ever been? That's another question. Have you ever been to a counselor, a coach, therapist? You ever been? Nah. And strike two. To just get Chaz, you checking boxes. Three strikes you out, right? Those are huge. All the things that are deal breakers to you, you need to ask, kind of casual. If we have a baby, we have a oops baby, would you want to get married? When you see people squirming and starting to feel uncomfortable with the questions you ask, because if you start swinging, it can happen. I've seen a lot of oops babies. Oops.
Yeah.
If we have a oops baby, how do you gonna pay child support? You gonna move in? You want to get married? What's your stance on that?
Well, if we have a oops baby, I don't think we should be getting married just because we had a baby. I think we need to get to know each other and see what's going on.
Right. See, and now if you present that, then the person can. What a lot of faux pas happen in relationships is that they don't give you the option of saying no. I'm going to cover. Remember, shame is about covering stuff up. Because if you knew this about me, you wouldn't mess with me. So, but I'm going to keep that covered up, and I'm not going to give you an option to say no. If I had known you had herpes, I wouldn't have messed with you out of the gate. I would have shut it down. But I kept that covered because I ain't want you to know that. Because I know you would have turned me down. So I get really selfish.
I ain't even get to that part.
Yeah.
STD. Dang.
See
I
that
wonder.
part.
I wonder if that's something that I might bring up next time. Come on, let's go to the doctors, get fully checked out before we start fucking around. Soon as she think, no, I ain't going to no doctors. It's cool. This was
Uh-huh.
good.
Go. That's when you get ghosted.
Yeah, this was cool. This was good. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll see you again sometime, but I'm out.
Wow. Interesting. Okay.
She said she went to therapy. The therapist said, I don't need therapy, that I made logical decisions. I hear that.
Perfect. Perfection. That's great.
Perfection. Nobody better than you, Trisha. Oh, if she ain't right and I need help, all the time on this show. What up?
Yeah. It's just the it's just the opposite.
Hey, Sister Sheila, I'm with that 100%. No testing, no touching. I'm with that 100%. You doing all this extra for this girl. Went out, bought her flowers and everything. I mean, she come in there smelling nice. Next thing you know, she got herpes. Come on, I could have got
Mm.
herpes at the goddamn strip club. Shit.
And you
Herpes.
find out when you're having abnormalities down there, and it's like, wait a minute, what? And then you go get it checked out, and then surprise, they
Hello, Dave
took away your
Chappelle. Haven't seen you in a while.
See, that part, I see it a lot. I see it often, and you'd be surprised. It's like if you tell folks straight up and give them an option, it's not always no. It's like, well, how do you manage it? Well, how do you take care? How do you not, infect somebody? How do you what? It's not always an instant no, but it's like, well, let me ask you some intelligent questions. That part.
Oh, no,
Scary.
This is a no. I'm too much of a freak. This is a no. Fuck around, get a bump, something like that. I'm cool.
Yeah, and then it's like, wow, eek. Whew. Okay.
Nah, I ain't even getting to none of the questions. We just been sitting here talking about this craziness of we've been talking about this craziness. So look, how do you fix these toxic relationships? That's what I want.
It's toxic when it makes you feel like you're being toxic. You feel gaslighted. Like, nothing I say or do can help. This person's always a victim. My well-being's affected. How you fix it is you have to ask yourself this very simple question. Am I violating my integrity to be with this person? Am I setting aside my values, the things that I know, and they may have a premium. They may have a fantastic job, a fantastic car, a fantastic business. And I set aside my stuff to accommodate them. So if I'm going to violate my integrity to be with you, at some point in time, the resentment's going to build up inside of me to the point where it's like, so if you have to violate your integrity to be with that person, you're probably in a toxic relationship.
Wow. That's sad. How do you get out of it? How do you set your mind free to get out of it?
If it's hard to do it on your own. So I have a lot of single people in my practice, and it's like, Lynn, let me bounce this off of you. It's like it's hard to do it in-house. So it's nice to have a coach or a therapist or counselor to kind of bounce things off of, because you're not always going to be rational. Especially you in that love hormone. When them love hormones flood your body, you cannot make decisions
You can't
that
make
are
no
rational. Right. So the question to ask yourself is, am I violating my integrity, who I am, to be with this person?
That's not, honestly, that's not usually the thing that you think about. The thing that you think about is, oh, I could do this and I could still do what I need to do for myself at the same time while I'm doing this with my mate. That's the thing that you usually ask yourself especially when you stuck in what I like to call the matrix.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That part. Yeah, it's so easy to get caught in the matrix. I mean, it's hard to come out. Usually got to get help to come out, but a lot of people don't feel like they need help because they can't get outside of their head. I can't get out of my head. I stay in my head. I get my own answers. I don't let no new information into my head because it may upset what I already know. Can't deal with that. Tough part. Wow.
No, men love projects too. I don't think it's just women. Men love projects too.
Oh, Build a Bear. Yeah, get a lot
Yeah,
of those too.
yeah.
I'm gonna build a
Men
bear.
love projects too. Men love a woman, and they can go ahead and change. And I think women might love it a little bit more because they'll flaunt it. Yeah, he was a bum just 3 years ago, but we got together, changed. Now he owns his own business, and yeah, they love to say that. You might not hear men say that a lot. You'll just know that a man was with a girl who used to be a stripper, and now he married her. And, now they are. So don't or he done married his side Jawn. So
That part. Yeah.
don't think that y'all the only ones that do projects. We do
Well,
projects.
I mean, but you fell in love with the representative, and what you see in there no longer exists.
No,
You
or
think
you
you can fix it or resurrect it? You can't resurrect that. No, it was an act. I'm never going to show you that part. I'm never going to break character until I get into a relationship. And after we done had sex and we're closer, now I can kind of let the representative fade to the back, and then the real deal comes out. If you hadn't seen the real deal up front, you wouldn't have had shit to do with me.
all right. Let me hold on. We got a couple more, and then I'm gonna let Sharon come in. But first, Trisha Joyce said, "No, so why you down on me? I took myself to therapy for help because I'm not perfect. The therapist said it's not necessary." Okay. She also said, get help, go to therapy. BJ said, release the nut to clear the brain. Sir, sir, you need help. She said, don't fix no one. Women love projects. BJ asked a really good question. He said, let's talk about the signs of losing yourself in a relationship.
Mm, yeah, I start carrying the other person's shame. I'm going to carry your shame. You're going to blame me, and okay. And if I'm that caretaker child, well, it depends on my sibling and my status growing up. I'm caretaker of my family. I'm the superstar of my family. I'm the rebellious one of my family. I'm the comedian of my family. I'm the highly religious one of my family. See, all these kids are going to have a role to grow with, and that will be the lens that they look through to be in a relationship. So if I'm losing myself in a relationship, I'm probably so invested in the other person that I'm not taking time to look at what I need and what I want or what I deserve, especially if I'm a caretaker. Caretakers are famous for doing that. They always look for projects.
Yeah, this is a new one Trisha just said right here. I didn't know this. She said women want projects to audition for men. I always thought y'all auditioned them to other women. Like, you don't walk by dirty ass Harry for fucking 4 years. I took dirty Harry, cleaned him up. Now he's a fucking businessman. I always thought y'all did that for other women. I never knew y'all did that for men. I'm gonna have to say I was totally wrong.
That's interesting because if I grow up without my dad, so this is half of who I am. Here's my dad's side, but I don't grow up with him. And so this my dad's side is void. It's empty. How can I be in a relationship with you and half of me is missing? Same thing with the girl child. She didn't grow up with her dad. How can she relate to a man if half of her is missing? That half is going to show up. All some of the origin of the toxicity comes from me not knowing who I am. And only 10% of black kids are growing up with two parents in the house. 10%, maybe 15. I'm being generous. Most of us are growing up without dad in the house. So
Yeah. My mom and dad weren't in the same house, but they was about a mile apart from each other.
mm,
So
mhm.
they wasn't in the same house. Plus, I grew up with all my grandparents. So
Mm. Grant, yeah, Nancy Boyd Franklin said, "A black woman isn't a mother until she's a grandmother." Ouch.
I understand that. I understand what they're saying about that. I'm gonna tell you why I understand what they're saying about that. I know I know a couple mothers who wasn't good mothers to their kids, but are great grandparents. Like
Oh yeah.
awesome grandparents. Like they do a lot as grandparents, but
Oh,
as
they
they
make
did
up
as they
for
were supposed to do as a mother,
it. Exactly. That's why children and grandparents are on the same frequency.
yes, they are. You'll
They're on
you'll
the
you'll
same
find out
frequency.
that you'll find out that your kids like black beans. I mean, neck bones and lima beans, and you like, what in the hell?
Where you get that from?
Like that's when you start saying stuff like, "Oh, you doing eating neck bones and lima beans at 6?"
Right. And the grandparents give the children that reflection that they need, that fulfills that half. See, I get that half. I imprinted from my grandfather. So he was in the bathroom shaving. He gave me a razor. He took the blade out, thank God. And we both in the mirror doing this. I got shaving cream all over. I'm shaving. I'm imprinting. That's that half of me. I'm going to format that half of me by what's being modeled before me.
Yeah.
Got to have the most important person in the life of the child is the same sex parent. Make no mistake about that.
I thought it was the opposite sex.
No, hell no. A woman cannot police the boundaries of masculinity. When that boy gets about 13, 14 years old, he is just as strong. When he hits 16, he's 4 times stronger than she is. If that boy child doesn't have a man to get in his chest to put him back in his place, then who's going to do it? Right? A cop. They love to put you back in place. A lot of that stuff is psychologically driven. No man's ever corrected me. No man has ever cared for me enough to correct me. That agape love from a man, from a dad. Need that. Gotta have it. It's one of
But
the dating questions to ask. Did you grow up with your dad in the house? Nope. I never met him. Whew. And you ain't never been to therapy? Nope. I'm self-made. Interesting. Okay. See, now, after those 2 questions with a negative, it's time to just stop. Because I'm dealing with
so you tell me with those two negative questions, you can't. Okay, you can't fix nobody that don't want to be fixed.
You
So
can't fix them. And you can't I don't care who you with, you can't make them happy. You can't, it's impossible. You have to be able to make yourself happy.
right.
And hopefully you get somebody else who can make themselves happy. And then now you have the foundation for a relationship. Because I'm not depending on you for my happiness. That part.
Yeah,
You will be let down every single time if you rely on that person to make you happy. That's destructive entitlement. You don't get that. You don't have a chance to get that. Nobody, the old school used to say, don't nobody owe you a living. Don't nobody owe you shit. You know.
Heard that saying a lot.
Oh yeah. Don't nobody owe you a living. Yeah, that's destructive entitlement. Somebody needs to take care of me. Or if I'm a caretaker in my family and I go into a love relationship, then I'm like, okay, it's your turn to take care of me. I took care of everybody in my family. Nobody ever took care of me. You're closest to me. You agreed to sign on board. So start taking care of me. So, wait, what? Yeah, start taking care of me. Come on.
There's a lot of people I know that's like that.
They out there.
They want somebody to come. I don't know if they're the caretaker in their family, but I'm just talking about just they want somebody to take care of them. They don't want to work no more. And I've heard this from both sides, men and women. They don't want to work no more. They want to get a sugar mama, sugar daddy. You know, I said that ain't always gonna work out the right way. There's a reason why they sugar mama, sugar daddy. They want you to do all this extra stuff. It's damn near like you working. That's what I told them, but they ain't want to listen to me.
Somebody owe me. Somebody owe me.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what they feel.
Yeah. Got to
don't know
get to
who
the
it is.
bottom of that one. Oof, boy, that's a tough one. Somebody owe me. Nobody
Man.
owe you shit.
What about these people that bring their old relationships back over to the new relationship? Like, all right, like okay, let me give one example. Like, people will get divorced and then go get married immediately after that because they missed that marriage life. They missed that, how they felt when they was married. They're just used to being together like that, right? And then they get divorced again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, well, being married, boy, I tell you, it's almost as if I deserve it. Yeah, my brain. Remember, your brain, my brain, everybody's brain hates change. So the moment I get divorced, the statistics say 47% of people, 47% of people regret the divorce within 8 months of getting divorced. Because remember, the inner child has gone away. Now the adult part comes in right around eight months, and you unpacking your shit, and it's a 600 square foot apartment. You coming out of a 3,500 square foot house. That's when it hits you. You can't go to the garage butt ass naked and get something out your car. Now you got to put on clothes, and you got to go to the damn, you got to walk through the parking lot to get something out your car. Now shit changes. That's when it hits you. It's like, damn, I fucked up.
Yo, yo. You hit that on the nose, that butt naked. You walk around the house butt naked all, all fucking day when you married. As soon as you get single, put my clothes on that. Like,
Right.
that's
Right.
that's hilarious. That's hilarious. But yeah, I don't understand that. Like when I'm divorced, separated, I realized I needed some time to get to know me, do me,
Yes.
get myself together.
Yes.
Because I'm gonna tell you exactly what I did right after the separation. I went out there, tried to start dating, and the first girl I met was doing shit just like my ex, and I was like, nah. I said,
Autopilot, bro. That's autopilot.
I said, this got to be me. Ain't no fucking way in the world. I meet something like this right after. Hell no, no.
Out the
Uh-uh.
gate. That's the person on the
Out
same
out the
frequency.
gate. Out the gate. I mean, even to the point that she was telling lies exactly like her. I knew she was lying over the phone. I didn't even looking at her face. And we like 3 months in, and I was like, nah, I'm cool. I gotta get out of
That part.
here. That was terrible. It was terrible.
But look, by the time you snap out of it, so by the time I snapped out of it, so 4 women I dated, same bone structure as my mom, glasses, body shape, hair, all that stuff. And my inner child goes, there she go right there. Let's get with her so that we can finish childhood. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. I ain't snap out of it until I was in my master's program. And then I really snapped out of it when I was in the doctorate program. So I was like, oh shit, I keep dating my mama. Oh fuck, I don't want to do this. The hell? Oh hell no. See? Familiar, family. FAMIL. Here's the familiar. That's why you pick up on the frequency. So it's just like that vibration, you can pick up on it. You can be in a room full of 100 people. You can pick up on that vibration just like that. Your eyes lock. You be like, oh shit, wait a minute, who's that? Dude, who's that? Who's that over there? Oh, that's my cousin. Let me introduce you. Okay, come on over here. It's like, no, man, don't bring her over here. No. No. Yeah.
Yeah. And Sharon is right. Don't go with the first person you meet after a breakup. Nah.
Ooh.
Nah.
Mm, mm,
Nah.
mm, mm. That's hard because the person you should be with, you're not going to be attracted to until you figure out who the hell you are. I always tell folks, once you figure out who you are, you'll be attracted to somebody sort of like you. 70%, 80% optimal. 80% of the time I know what you're thinking. 20% of the time we have a what the fuck moment. Like, what? Well, okay, I can live with that. 80% of the time, let's do Netflix and chill, or let's go out there. You want somebody who kind of thinks like you, so that you're not too far to the left, too far to the right. Everything that you love about yourself.
They kind of think like you until it's time to go get something to eat. That's the problem right there. Every time it's time to go get something to eat, it's always a problem. They never know what the fuck they want to eat. Every goddamn time. Every time. Where the women at in the comments? I need y'all to speak up. Why y'all never know what y'all want to eat?
That part. That's so funny.
That's what I'm saying. My fault. Let me read these last comments. Chocolate girl, you got to make your way. Look at him. Now they're gonna talk some. That's not true. We know we want to eat. Fuck out of here. Let me talk to y'all men. Man, put the man on the phone. Let's ask him. So he said, unfortunately, most men out here are sad, and in their anti-therapy. That's why I'm single. I can't fix you. Matter of fact, we can't fix each other. Sharon said that's why you never get with the person you first meet at the breakup. Say, LOL, no, I never dated no one that looked like my family. They gonna say that's not true, Dennis. We know what we want to eat. So BJ told me, go ahead, log out, beloved, while you ahead. Trisha says sushi or steak, medium rare. Short list, simple. Okay, all right. That sounds nice. We'll see later. I need to talk to some of these men. Talk to some of these men y'all been on dates with. Right, let me find out what y'all do. Y'all really just be that simple and want to
That's funny.
I think y'all lying. But I'm gonna get up on out of here. I'll let y'all do y'all thing. I'll be back.
Okay, bye. Hey, Lynn. Hey. So let's talk more about these toxic relationships. You guys spend a lot of time talking about relationships in general, but let's talk about the topic for the day, which is toxic relationships. You mentioned earlier, briefly, what a toxic relationship is. Can you just review that really, really quickly? Just touch on it a hot second and just state quickly what a toxic relationship is. How do you define it or recognize it?
A toxic relationship makes you feel unsupported, demeaned, attacked. If toxic relationship is when sorry about that. A toxic relationship is when your well-being is threatened in some way. It is something that you're being gaslighted, or it's something about the relationship that isn't. A toxic relationship is one that is void of reciprocity. Beautiful. Started that out. The reciprocity flows. I do it for you. You do it the fuck back to me in the same magnitude and intensity in which I gave it to you. If you're the one that's doing all the giving and you've got this asymmetrical relationship, that's toxic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not balanced. A toxic relationship is highly imbalanced.
Mm-hmm. And would you also include, if you're in a relationship with someone that brings out the worst in you, would that be toxic?
It's either toxic or it's a part of you that needs to be healed. If some stuff's coming out of me that no one else is able to bring out of me, then it's trying, whatever it is, it's trying to be healed. And I get a lot of that. When I get those, I'm like, okay, what is it about you that's trying to be healed? What is it about you that's unfulfilled? And I tell them, I'm like, this is going to follow you until you deal with it. It's going to come up in every relationship. It's going to come up. It's going to come up. It's going to come up. Boom.
Okay. So can toxic relationships be one-sided, or does it require two or more people?
It's usually one-sided. Usually it's one-sided, but we usually find somebody on our same level of dysfunction.
Really?
That's the attraction. Sameness, familiar.
Mm.
And when I got couples right now who get into these parallel escalations and they both go up at the same time at the top of the cycle, they do the toxic tail spin on the way down, they hit the ground, they reset, and they wait for the next episode. And it just keeps doing this. Now, mind you, the people who are fighting in the relationship are the inner children. Children go at each other. Children go hard in the paint, really hard. And then when they come back down, oh baby, I'm sorry. I'm saying that's not me. I'm so sorry. And you know that the adult part kicks in and wants to have the relationship. But then you do something or say something that hits one of my unhealed triggers.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Now, and that triggers me. And when I get triggered, all of my triggers are tied to that inner child. Every last one of them. Something that happened that didn't get fixed, healed, saved, or rescued. And then my inner child wants to try to correct it. So your inner child arguing, my inner child's arguing. Once I pull them out of that inner child energy and keep them in their adult, communication improves. I'm not as selfish. I can take your needs and put them before mine because I love you. Reciprocity is more likely to flow between adults rather than the children.
Mm.
So a relationship should be healing. You should heal in a relationship. A relationship, you got messed up in a relationship, you go into a relationship to get healed. That's usually how it works. Usually. So
Okay. So who usually, I want to ask you these which one, this or that questions, okay? So you're in a relationship, somebody usually can see when it's toxic at one point. They'll get sometimes, not all the times, but who takes longer to recognize that they're even in a toxic relationship, wake up and leave it? So let's
right.
just talk about men and women. Who usually is the one that does it quicker, the men or women?
It depends on who's more in touch with themselves.
Mm.
Because when you start violating your integrity to be with somebody, if you have that awareness of your inner space, your child, then you're gonna say, okay, something about this isn't right. And again, remember, we're attracted to people who remind us of the parent or caretaker that gave us the hardest time. So when I always ask the question, I said, you ran past the stop signs. Tell me the last stop sign you ran past. And everybody always has. When I first saw phone number from her boyfriend, she's still talking to her ex. That's a stop sign. But
Mm-hmm.
you ran right through the stop sign. Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you keep running through those stop signs, at some point in time, your brain goes, okay, well, it's cool to run past stop signs. All right, cool. Then you just keep doing it, you keep doing it until it builds and builds, and then you have an aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually 3 years into it, and 2 kids later, you had that aha moment.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 years and 20 years. But
Oh
also,
yeah.
so what about younger people and older people? People who have been in relationships a shorter amount of time or longer amount of time, or younger or older in age? Who would leave it first?
That
It's
that's
hard to say, isn't it?
it's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
I know the one who, I mean, if I'm a codependent, I ain't never gonna leave. I'll just tough it out because I don't think I deserve better. This is how I grew up in my family. This is what I'm familiar with. I'm a codependent. The other person's kind of narc-ish.
Mm.
Narcs and codependents fit like hand in glove.
Mm.
And usually when I run into a relationship and one of them is narcissistic and the other one's codependent, I focus usually turns to the codependent.
Why does it
Narcs don't change.
why does it turn to the codependent person?
Uh, the codependent person actually has an exit or an avenue that they can take.
Mm-hmm.
You know, You don't have to realize, you don't have to do this. You can take your power back. You're replicating, you're tracking just like your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom absorbed a lot of energy to be with your dad. You're in a relationship where you absorb a lot of energy to be with this man, or vice versa.
Mm.
If you saw your mama take a lot of shit, then got it. That's what I'm supposed to do. With children, more is caught than taught. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's clear to me. But explain what you mean by that.
Children go by what you do, damn what you say. So if you're in a toxic relationship and a child interprets, okay, I should be with a person who argues with me, fuss, fight. Abuse has been associated with love. I
Mm.
can't tell abuse from love because they're not separate.
Got you.
That's a horrible place to be. I associate abuse with love. You know, if you love me, you would beat my ass.
Right.
Or you right. I mean, so if I grow up and I see abuse associated with love, when I go into a love relationship, I'll look for the same abuse.
Well, what if you have a friend or a loved one and you recognize that they're in a toxic relationship with someone? Do you say anything to them about it? Or do you just keep watching them and just wait for them to come ask you about it? Do you offer
Hmm.
any help or advice, or do you just wait for them to ask you while they're suffering?
The question is, how close am I to this person?
Well, let's say it's a loved one, like a relative that you're close to, family member, cousin, sister, auntie, parent,
That's
child
going through.
that's going through it.
I,
It's
I
someone
tell
you're very close to.
right. Here's what I observe. And I don't know. Maybe you probably should talk to a professional, but here's what I observe: A, B, C, D, and E. I don't know if you're aware of it, but you're taking more shit than normal from this person. You know, y'all arguing in front of the kids. You ain't grow up like that. You're doing things that are contrary to how you grow up.
Mhm.
When did that happen? So I can gently try to make a suggestion, but usually most people need to hit a brick damn wall
Mhm.
before they snap out of it. It's like, oh my
Mhm.
God, I should have listened to you. You were right. I mean, I wish you had shook me or something.
But I tried. I tried
I,
shaking you. You wouldn't listen. You told
I,
me to mind my business because
you
that's what
told
they
me to
tell you.
mind. Yes,
Mind your business.
and you'll get that call at 2:27 a.m. in the morning. You was right. Who is this?
Ooh. Oh,
Oh yeah.
how do you see
Oh,
it now? Now, okay.
what happened? You was right.
Yeah,
He was doing X or she was doing this, that, and a third. Yeah, I've gotten those calls.
of
Yeah,
course.
it's unpleasant. Okay, can
I
we
know
talk
you
about
were
it in the
you were
morning?
you were saying that a toxic relationship is one where you don't feel supported and you
No,
feel like you can't
demeaned, attacked.
you feel demeaned and all that stuff. But there are specific signs of toxic relationships and toxic people. Like, what type of personality traits do they exhibit if they're a toxic person individually?
Selfish. The main thing is selfish. It's all about me. And this is the toxic person grew up with toxicity. It was the
Mm-hmm.
model for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's all about me. And you get the narcissism from one of two methods. Either you got too much as a kid or you didn't get enough. So I see women who spoil their boy child, but real hard on the girl. And I hear women say this all the time. My brother could come in at 3 o'clock in the morning. My mama wouldn't say shit. If I came in the house after 11 o'clock, I'm about to get a beat down. See, here's where I say the most important person in the life of the child is the same sex parent.
Mm-hmm.
She should have been just as hard on him as she was on the daughter. But
Oh, man, you
you know,
preaching.
we in
I'm
the same.
sorry. You said that. I had to say to let you know you preaching. You preaching.
So we grew up in the South, and we know traditional single mothers kind of spoil the boy child. Dress him up, take him around all her other girlfriends. Oh, girl, he's so cute. Look at them little Nikes. He got little shoe. That boy from a very early age gets spouseified. Spousification. This is you hear it all the time. They introduce the son as my little man. Yes,
Oh
this my
yeah,
little
and oh
man.
no. And
This
you
my
know
little
what? I was careful not to ever utter those words. Oh my God, you are so right. You're really
You
right. And
you
well, of
preaching
course
over
you
there,
know you're
Flag.
right. I just want you to know I know you're right.
You
Because
preaching over there, Flag. You preaching.
yeah, because as a single mom, I can tell you, I never said that because I didn't want to be looked at as that.
That's hard. Now I grew up as a boy child, and I hear I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. I'm 5 years old. Guess what? I'm the man.
Oh, never said that he was the man of the house. Oh my gosh. And I remember getting arguments with some of my friends who were single moms who have made those statements. You got to be the man of the. No, he does not. He's a child. That's your house. You rule the house.
And you
And
gave
my,
him all
my
the reins.
son, if he was here right now, he would tell you, I ran my house. He was never the
Right.
man of my
That's a
house.
the I didn't deserve I never deserved the rank
Exactly.
of being the man. But
Right.
right around that boy hits 13, 14, 15 years old, and there isn't a man to correct him,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be real hard to handle because here's where women cannot police the boundaries of masculinity. You just can't. It's only so far you can take your boy child. That's
Exactly.
as
There's
far as
only
you can
so
take.
far. And the
Right.
age is different for each child. It's not the same for all of them. But
Correct.
but as a woman, you know when you've reached it too. In fact, I knew. I knew when the age was.
Mm-hmm.
And
Usually,
that's when we started having the most issues. But
yeah.
but rather than backing down and trying to spousify him, I still maintained my rank.
Mm,
That was
mm.
the only way I knew how to handle it. So that's what I had
Right.
to do.
Right.
And so this kind of leads me to my next question because we were talking before the show, and I asked you about the therapy that you offer. You don't just coach on romantic relationships. You talk a little bit about what you do beyond romantic relationships.
Mm-hmm. Right. So it, it's a lot of preparation in between. This is why I like doing premarital stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My premarital, I break up probably 80% of people who should never be married, and I tell them up front, say, look, my premarital is kind of brutal. I'm going way down deep to pull out some stuff that you ain't even realize. So one of my premarital questions is this. So you're on an ocean liner, you're out in the middle of the ocean, your spouse and your kid and your mama fall overboard. You a strong swimmer. You can't save but one of them. Who you gonna save? Your
I
mama,
know. I
your
know.
kid, or your spouse? See,
I
and
know. We talked about that on the last show, and
that that's
and
a
you
real question.
and you got on my case for my answer, but I have to, I have to go with my. I mean, I'm a mama. I'm a mama. I know me. I'm going after my child. That's my instinct,
Hmm. Okay, then
and
that's
that
cool.
that might be wrong, but
It, it,
but
it,
you know
it,
what? When you're faced with the situation, though, Lynn, you don't know what you would do. I'm
I know
sitting
what
here in
I
the
would
house.
do.
I'm sitting here in the house just talking to you about it. I'm not in the
I'm
actual
saving
situation.
my wife. I'm saving my wife. Mama
I
done lived her years. We can make another baby. So I'm
see,
gonna save my wife.
I,
That's
I
me.
got,
But
I
your
got.
answers should be on the same. But if imagine being in session and he says, "I'm gonna save my mama." See, now you want to see. I'm telling you, this woman looked at her husband and burned a hole in his head. It's like, You're gonna save your mama, not your kid, not your spouse, but you're gonna save your mama. See, that spousification is emotional incest.
Mm-hmm.
It does not have a place in the relationship. It's too
Exactly.
much.
Yeah. Well, that's well, my first instinct, just thinking about the question, is automatically my child. I just yeah, that would be,
Okay.
I would save him before I try to save myself. And
Right.
that's
Well,
a
you can say,
feeling that I am so certain of. I mean, I just pray to God I'm never in that situation that I have to choose, because
right.
it would tear me apart to have to choose like that.
Don't get on no
But
cruise. Don't
I
get on no
tell you,
carnival
but that's
cruise.
part of the reason why I don't go no cruising. I ain't, she, my sister trying to get me on a boat.
That ain't the likelihood of that happening
I
is
know it.
slim to
I know
none.
it. I know. That's my
Len,
own
Len,
fear.
Len. You are here to help the situation. You're messing it up. We got to get her on a cruise. You just told her don't go on a
No,
cruise. No, no,
no,
no, no, no.
no, no.
Do you know how hard me and Sister Sheila have been working to try to get her on this cruise? We have been working hard. Okay, this has been hard work, Len. This is a trauma situation of hard work here, Len. You cannot say things like that. You done brought back a trigger. Now we got to start all over. We 2 years deep. Sister Sheila, write in the comments how hard it has been trying to get her on this boat. I'm gonna go back. I know I ain't supposed.
Uh,
He
so it's
crazy.
anxiety is fear of the future. Depression is fear of the past. Okay.
Okay, well, we can talk next time you come on. We can talk about anxiety and depression. That'll be a good topic for the next time, because that's a huge one, huge one. But my sister acknowledged in the comments, yes, she's been trying extremely hard to get me on the cruise. Yes, she has. And I did say this year that just let me get prepared. And the next time she goes, I'm planning on going with her, whenever that
Please let me know because I need to be there. So
is.
please
Well, I mean,
send me all information because I need to be there because we gonna partake.
Yes, we
so
will.
it's just a matter. It's kind of what the technique is called exposure therapy, in which you know the first part of the session be here's a picture of a cruise ship. That's it. Have a nice day. Go home. And you go, well, that wasn't nothing. And then the next one is here are the steps leading up to the cruise ship. I show you that, and they say, oh, that's the end of our session. You go, okay, but when is this working? And then the next session is you actually walking up the steps. Now that's when it starts to, you can feel it. Like you
Oh
walk
my
up the steps,
God.
you're at the top of the steps. Okay, that's the end of the day. Have a nice day. And then we'll walk up the steps again. We'll walk up the steps again until it's like, okay, I'm at the top of the steps. Okay, no problem. Then we're going to walk to our cabin.
Oh
Right
Lord.
now,
Oh
now,
no.
now we drag it. Okay, we go about 20 feet. We stop. Well, that's it. That's end of the session. That's end of the session. Nope. Let's stop.
Lynn, do you know how big those ships are?
I've been on
Those
one.
ships
Oh,
are
yeah, they're huge.
huge.
We had a couple of football fields. Yeah. Mhm.
Well, listen, Sheila, my sister said we'd have to call CNN if I get on the ship. So I'll just make sure we'll call Anderson Cooper and have him there at the dock so he can interview me as I'm walking on the ship. That's what we'll do.
Well, you can do all of that here. You don't have to go anywhere.
I don't know. This sort of here is, I don't know.
But but Sharon, you've never been on a ship. What's
I've
the
been on the
basis of your
ship,
data?
but
You've been on a
I've been
ship.
on a ship that was docked, that didn't sail. It just stayed in place. It didn't move anywhere.
So y'all had to disembark. You had to get off the boat.
Yeah, they turned it, it was a ship, but they turned it into like an event space. And so I was there on the ship, went for dinner, went for an event and all that stuff, but the ship didn't move. But it
They
was a
they
huge cruise ship that I got
they do that
on,
a
and
lot.
it was
Oh,
on
that's
the
why.
water, but it didn't go out in the water.
Yeah, they
Now,
do that a
I,
lot. They do that a lot now because they got them old dock ships that's been there for a while.
mhm.
So they gut them out, they redecorate them, and now they turn them into event spaces and a lot of other things to the point that it'd be bars and everything in there. They do that a lot now. They got one they building in Philly down by the old Navy Yard.
Yeah.
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 Well, so I've
That.
been on that, but then I've also been on a smaller boat. You know how you take boat rides? You know, everybody want to do the boat rides where you go get drunk on boat, friends.
Yeah. The booze
Yeah, I've
cruise.
been on
Yeah.
one of those before, like a singles boat ride. I've been on one
Yeah.
of those out
No
into the
problem.
Potomac River. I was
Okay.
there on the boat, and that was fine. I can do that because it was smaller. But that
Okay.
and I wasn't out in the ocean. The ocean is huge. But why are we talking about that? Let me go back to this relationship. We'll talk about that another time. Phobias, anxiety, depression. That's what we'll talk about.
Mm. Okay.
Write that down, Lynn. I know you did already. I know you.
I got to take notes.
But okay, so back to these relationships. Do toxic people know they're toxic all the time? Do they know?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Some toxic people, I don't believe that they know, Lynn.
When they act like they don't know, they're in their representative mode.
What if
Toxic
that's like
people.
50 years of representative? Can it be
Oh, I
50
can
years
say
of
I'm
representative?
not gonna break. I'm not gonna break character. Once I marry you, I ain't gonna break character.
Oh, I mean, not even married, just in regular old relationships. It could be in friendships, not
Yeah.
necessarily romantic relationship, just
Most
friendships or parent,
most
child, siblings,
right,
auntie, cousin, uncle. It
right,
could be any relationship
right.
on a
Most
job, all of that. Do they
it,
know that they are the toxic person? If
yes,
they're but
yes.
how do you know they know if they all are always acting like it's somebody else?
Well, most narcs or toxic people want you to carry their shame. See, I don't have the ego strength to carry my shame. So I'll make you carry it, and then I'll make myself a victim at the same time. That part.
Hmm. Do all toxic people make themselves victims?
They're trying to make up for whatever trauma it was in childhood. Whatever that trauma was, I'm going to bring that into a relationship.
Well, my sister has an opposing view. She says no, they don't know. They wouldn't behave that way. And she said that with two
No, they're
exclamation marks. Wait a minute. She said that with two exclamation marks too. They wouldn't behave that way. She said they have deceived themselves and convinced themselves that they aren't the issue.
right until the representative cannot process the information.
Explain
See,
what you mean.
so my child part, if I'm swapping, I know who I am. I don't want you to see that part of me until something happens that forces me to show you who I am. You're not going to see it. I'm going to hide it from you. I know exactly who I am because if I had shown you that part up front, you wouldn't have had shit to do with me. So what you got was a representative. When you
Oh,
bust them,
okay.
that's when it's like now you're in bare ass. You're in bare ass. Your ass out.
Embarrassed.
That's what it means when you break down
Mhm.
the etymology of in bare ass. Yeah,
Yeah.
you ass out. Now I see you. So yeah, most of them know, but they're not gonna show you that up front. You wouldn't have shit to do with them out the gate. You show that, I'm out. You crazy? I ain't have nothing to do with you.
Wow.
That
So
part.
the toxic person must know that they are toxic, even though
They know
they're
that.
around other people who they want to say, no, it's you.
Right. Unless that toxic person is trying to impress you.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is they just swap. They put the representative out front. You met the representative. You probably fell in love with the representative, and you think that representative is somewhere in there. You never met that person. You never met the real person.
So how can you tell if the toxic person is you? You run around here with all these relationships and stuff and pointing fingers at everybody else. But how can you tell the person that no, this is you? What do you say
Right.
to them? And how do they recognize that it is them?
I know it's me because I'm never satisfied. It's never enough. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, it's never enough. And at some point in time, it starts to be very consistent. And you'll hear somebody say, ain't nobody out there that can make me happy. A lot of folks that, it isn't until you go into session work with a coach or a therapist or a counselor, you won't know that it's you until somebody tells you it's you who is outside of you. So most toxic people live in a little bubble. They don't let information in that can possibly make them confront themselves.
And threaten that opinion that is not them.
Right. So that's why when you a dating question is, hey, if we get messed up, how do you feel about going to see a therapist? Or how do you feel about going to see a counselor or a coach? If the answer is, oh, I've never been, and nor am I ever going because I'm straight. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for playing.
So we know what that means. Yeah. Right. Thank you for playing. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
Why are so many people, and let's just be honest, especially in the Black community, why are we against therapy? Not we, as in me, because I'm not. But why are we as a community largely against therapy, do you think?
It's not modeled. If you don't see your parents do it, and you don't see your family do it, and you don't see your friends do it, then when it's presented to you, it's like, I ain't doing that. Therapy's for crazy white people. I see it all the time on TV. The 80 hours of TV I watch per month, that's where I see it. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm straight. I don't need that. Yeah. It's never modeled for you. You're asking me to pour from an empty vessel. I don't know anything about that. I can't give you any advice on it. I ain't never done it. I ain't gonna do it. Nobody in my family's ever done it. And it's funny. This is why I really love first-time people, because they need to have a really super positive experience. They really do. Mm-hmm. Your first one, and you got to pick your therapist. You pick your coach like you picking a pair of shoes. Is it a good fit? Does it look good? Does it make me feel good? Because there's a lot of toxic therapists out there. That's a whole nother show. Yeah. That's a lot.
Another good one. Write that one down, Lynn. Let's talk about that too.
Yeah.
But okay, so you mentioned narcissists. And I've read a lot about narcissists. Narcissists are really interesting people, right? But they're not complicated to me. It's easy. Once I started reading about it, it's easy to recognize and figure out. And but here's what I wanted to ask you. Are there differences between just a toxic person and a narcissist? Sometimes a person can be toxic, but not necessarily a narcissist, or can they?
Thin line. It's a very thin line. If they're just toxic, you can come out of toxicity. Mm-hmm. But if they're narcissistic, and it gets set in stone right around, personalities get set in stone right around age 5. You'll see it. You see it in the way children play. If you really observe how children play, it's a really super thin line. It could easily trip over into from toxic to narcissistic. It could trip into it, but you have to have some really loving, nurturing. Nurture has to be modeled. Not only has to be modeled, it has to be felt, heartfelt. That agape love. Because children deify their parents. It's like you can't not do it. My mom is godlike to me. I'm 2.5 feet. I'm 25 pounds. My mama's 5'9", 200 pounds, and she's 10 times my size, and she's damn near 3 times my height. This person's a giant. What I learned as a child is I got to please this giant. But if the giant doesn't love me back, right? If I have to get my mama's attention, or I have to get my daddy's attention, after a while, your brain goes, you know what? Let's stop doing that. I don't want to do that no more. And so now what will happen is the child will learn to play with themselves. And when mom comes walking in the room, they kind of look up, just kind of look back down, keep on doing what they're doing. That's when they go into survival mode. That's hard because a child needs eye contact.
Mm-hmm.
There's this experiment called the still face experiment. You can catch that on YouTube. So it's a mom and a toddler, and the experimenter walks in the room. They're playing and doing all this. The experimenter walks in the room and tells the mother to turn her face off, deadpan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the mother goes deadpan, and the kid is like, this is a toddler. It may have been about 12, 13 months. The kid's like, what? What's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
You like that thing over there? And the kid starts hitting mom. What's wrong with you? What is it? The kid just goes into a panic, starts
Mm-hmm.
bawling, crying.
Mm-hmm.
That child is so dependent on the reflection to come back from his mom that I'm okay, that you hear me, that you love me. And so all of that is cut off. It's cut off. It's none of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now what? Can you imagine growing up with a child growing up and not getting that love and affection from a mom or a dad?
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Here's the setup for the toxicity and the narcissism. And
Mm-hmm.
so what the brain goes into survival mode. Okay, I can't depend. What the brain learns, I can't depend on you. I better take care of me. This is a brain in a 2-year-old, 3-year-old. They're just little people. They're not stupid.
Right. Little
That child
adult.
knows when you love him or when you don't.
Mm-hmm.
But if the mom never got that love, you can't pour from an empty vessel. How can I give my child that love when I never got that love? And now the cycle starts all over.
Again.
And
Mm-hmm.
here comes the intergenerational dysfunction. And no one, until somebody falls on the sword, that intergenerational dysfunction will manifest in the children. They'll pass it on to their children and so on.
What's the best way that they can break the cycle?
Come see me.
Right.
You got to see somebody. You got to see a professional.
Yeah.
And a lot of times for me, that has resulted in, okay, I need the whole family in the room. Mom, dad, children. It's time to get this shit out in the open. Because the secret in the family is what keeps the intergenerational dysfunction going.
Okay. Do you do pre-dating coaching and matchmaking? My sister wants to know.
Pre-dating, yes. Coaching, yes. I want to get in. I can tell, if you bring that person to me, what I'll do is I'll run that personality assessment and tell you, here's where you two are different. Here's where you two are the same. Here are opportunities for growth.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to know that. You need to know that up front. What are you getting into?
Before you get way too serious.
Hopefully before you have sex. Because again, after you have sex, you ain't thinking straight. You're not thinking straight after sex. Especially after good sex. You'll rationalize it. Oh, he'll be fine. She'll be fine.
I didn't know that there was any other kind of sex but good sex. Is there bad sex? I can't relate.
Oh yeah. Is there bad sex? Ask Dennis.
Why he come back in here when I talk about that? I don't understand why he popping up, but yeah, I can't relate to that. So I'm not, but I still have another question though, Dennis. I'm not ready yet.
Well, do you think?
But I mean, you can stay. But how do you respond to a toxic person? Lynn, we were talking about this before the show. If you know somebody is toxic and you know their demonstrative behaviors, how do you deal with them? How do you deal with them and kind of shut them down?
I put myself first. What do I need? What do I want? What am I getting from this? How are you making me feel? This isn't an external decision. This is an internal decision. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not waiting for something external to happen before I make an internal decision.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. It's not. It's not dependent on them. It's dependent on me. I know how I'm feeling during this day. Like, ugh. Especially if I'm aware of myself. I love myself. I'm aware of myself. I know what makes me tick. I know what makes me happy. And this person is exhibiting everything that is not typical. And especially if that person has a hard time saying no, or taking the answer of no, they have a hard time. That is the first telltale sign. Meet me at the
Mm-hmm.
restaurant. I know you don't have to pick me up. No, I got my. I'm going to pay for my meal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not giving you. I'm not making all these deposits into your emotional bank account so I can get something from you later on.
Mm-hmm.
I shut that down out the gate and see how they respond to you. Now, if it's somebody that's interested in you and respects you, then you have a basis. If they handle no well, okay, well, I understand you want to take care of yourself. Okay, cool. I get that. You want to meet there? Cool. You don't know me from a campaign. That's great. I don't have a problem with that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
patient enough to wait for you. Even sometimes that isn't always the answer, but it's one of the things to look for.
And
Because a narc will wait you out too.
well, also as Trisha mentioned earlier, we can't fix them. So when
You
you
can't.
deal with a toxic person, you have to remember this is not your fault. Their behavior is not your fault, and you can't fix it. You got
You
to
can't
keep
fix
that
it.
in your mind. But how do you do that and show compassion without giving in to their tricks of the game? Because you know how tricky toxic people can do. They can easily flip it on you and try to put it on you when it's them all along.
Right. And so, Sharon, I know that is the caretaker lens in you. So you see everything through
Mm-hmm.
that caretaker lens. And
Mm-hmm.
so you want to, it's a natural inclination for you to want to help. But
Mm-hmm.
you need to take them caretakers. You take that
Take them
shit off
glasses
because it's
off.
gonna get you fucked up. They take them glasses off
Mm-hmm.
because it's not gonna help you. And I don't want you navigating guilt. It's when you got to take your caretakers that dial and dial it all the way to the left because you can't fix them. Caretakers
Mm-hmm.
need to be with other caretakers. By the way, you need to be with another caretaker. It'll
Mm-hmm.
be a vacation. Wow, I don't have to tell you to wash the dishes. Wow, I don't have to tell you to fill my car up with gas. Wow, I don't have to tell you to, you know.
I agree with you on that. That's what I need. That's what floats my boat. You're right. 'Cause I don't want to have to do all that. I'm not
No,
raising you.
right.
You need to be ready.
And most folks aren't ready. They're not
Mm-hmm.
ready. They're still looking for somebody to take care of them because I didn't get this in childhood. So
Mm-hmm.
you fit the bill. So take care of me. That
Got it.
part.
Got it.
Hate it, but it's something that needs to be. If I bring that into the relationship, if I bring it in, relationships are a place to go where you get healed. It has to be a mutual understanding. Hey, I got
Mm-hmm.
some fucking things that happened to me. You got some dysfunction. Maybe if we can leave home mentally and rewrite our relationship script that satisfies what we need. You're going to have daddy needs that's going to come up 8, 10 times a year. Mama needs are going to come up 8, 10 times a year. It's going to happen. It's going to be up to you to recognize that in your partner and to give them that thing they need in that moment to start to heal some of that emotional scar tissue that's
Mm-hmm.
there because it's thick.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of start to whittle it down and make it more flexible. And then at some point in time, it's like, baby, you ain't even got to do that. I'm straight. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm healed from that. You don't have to do that anymore.
Cool. All right, Lynn. Thank you. Go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, yeah. That was good. That was definitely good. You asked all the questions, and we're gonna have to kind of end this. I have to bring Lynn back again. I mean, well, I ain't gonna say
Oh,
bring him back. We're gonna have to have his chair set up with his right drink. You know what I mean? And it's in this, so when he come back, he be straight. You know what I mean? 'Cause like I said, he family now. Um,
Uncle Lynn.
yes. Do you have any final words though, Lynn?
Well, figure the structure for loving yourself is the ability to say no, the
Mm-hmm.
ability to establish a boundary. Boundaries let people know how you want to be treated. The ability to put yourself first, and the another uh, nugget that I've added is the ability to keep a promise to yourself. You can't break promises. I'm gonna eat better. Don't do it. I'm gonna exercise more. Don't do it. I'm gonna take a class and you don't do it. If you keep not doing, you can't trust your own word, and your brain is like, you ain't trying to lose no weight. You ain't trying to eat better. You ain't trying to, save more money. I'm gonna save more money, and you don't do any of those things, and you break the word with yourself, and then it becomes hardwired. Never break a promise to yourself. If you say you're gonna do something, your brain is like, you gonna follow through on that? I'll help you, but you better follow through on it. So to jumpstart a change in behavior, you have to do the thing 28 days in a row. And then your brain goes, all right, you're serious. Okay, all right, we need to change the diet. Okay, you done ate this way for the last 28 days. Okay, I'm gonna flip a switch, boom. Now it'll be natural for you. Right? But if you don't keep a word to yourself, hell, if you can't keep a word to yourself, how can you keep a word to somebody that you're in love with?
Mm-hmm.
Messy.
He said messy. All right.
I'm gonna end that with my famous line. It's cool when they do it.
It's cool when they do it. Mm-hmm.
It's cool
Yeah.
when they do it. Yeah.
Keep word to yourself. Follow up what you say you're gonna do. Follow up. Make sure it gets done.
Mm-hmm.
That one shows up a lot. Can't keep a word to myself.
Okay. What you got there, chocolate girl?
Similar to what he was saying. Just love yourself enough to be able to say no when it doesn't serve you. Period. Sometimes it's not be selfish. We're not saying put yourself worse. I mean, put yourself first in a selfish way, but don't sacrifice your self-respect or your well-being
Integrity.
and in
Yes.
integrity. See that integrity and self-respect and your well-being, those three things right there, you should not compromise with that.
Make a
Um,
promise to yourself that I will not violate my integrity to be with this person.
to be with that person
Out the
in any
gate.
way, in a romantic relationship, professional relationship, friendship, organization, parent child, sibling, uh, best friends. It doesn't matter what the relationship is. you
Correct.
you got to you got to be able to look yourself in the mirror every day and be comfortable with you, and that takes some work. It took me a
Repetition.
lot of self-reflection, but
Discipline.
I'm
Yes.
telling you, once you start self-reflection truly and get real with yourself, you can get there. And I've done it. I've done the work. I've gotten there. And now I'm just all about that honesty, being honest with myself and others around me. This is how I feel.
Mhm.
I could be wrong, but this is how you're making me feel, or this is how I feel. And just let's talk about it. Don't be afraid of the conversation. So I'm gonna leave
Exactly.
it. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I like that.
I'm gonna
Okay.
leave it at that. I could go further, but I'm gonna leave it at that.
Well, see, this is why I do 2 hours. I do 2 hour sessions. I don't do that 50-minute bullshit that most therapists do. Because at the end of 50 minutes, we ain't touched nothing.
Mm-mm.
You
You're
talking
gonna
about
be
just for the
Quick.
first at least I've been to therapy. For the first 25, you sitting there talking about what happened the last time you was there. I've been to therapy. You are absolutely right about that. And don't let them be in the session with somebody else while your time is coming up.
You got 3 people in the session. You better have 120 minutes because everybody's not going to be heard. That part. So that's why
right.
it's minimum. Especially I got a couple that's divorcing. 50 minutes. I said once I got out of school, I said I will never do that to anybody, individual or single. I ain't gonna let you know. They're going to the parking lot and snot bubbles and tears, and I'm up here scratching my head because I'm liable if they wrap that car around a tree. Where are you coming from? My therapist.
Your therapist, yeah.
And they let you out. They let you out the door in that state.
I think
so.
I seen people leave out the therapist in that state. I've seen it, and I said I don't think he fixed the damn thing.
No, you're not. You're still, your rocket ship is still lifting. You don't hit cruising altitude to about maybe an hour and 10 minutes into it. Here's where we get the work done up here.
See that? Yeah, that's kind of how the side Jawn works sometimes. When we about an hour 10 minutes, that's when the good stuff always happens if our show lasts that long. But sometimes our show is only 50 minutes to an hour. But yeah, we can be therapeutic.
It all depends.
We can be therapeutic sometimes.
Yeah, it all depends. Only thing I want to first of all, Lynn, you're absolutely right. You need a 2-hour session. You need to get down to the nitty gritty and find out what's going on and can it be fixed. Have you ever told a couple that it couldn't be fixed? Y'all need to break up, and they've been together for a while.
Extremely rare, but yeah, that's rare because that means I done emptied my clip and nothing worked. So that's rare. Maybe once or twice.
Not the gun reference. Not the empty the clip reference. Go
ahead. Everything I know. It's like,
sometimes you might be at a point that you might be too far gone in that relationship.
That's rare because, again, I already know that's an age regression issue. When you're escalating, when you both are parallel escalating, you're age regressing back down to the trauma. That part. And that's why folks go hard in the paint. They cussing each other out, calling everybody. You ain't say none of that when you was making them babies. So where you get that from? So, and I can't raise my child from my inner child. My inner child will compete with my child. You hear shit like, when I was in school, I had to walk to school up, 10 inches of snow with a hole in my shoe. You got it easy, kid.
That sounds like some jealous bullshit to me always.
The child is not going to understand that. That child's like, I don't have to walk to school in the snow with a hole in my shoe. Right. Why are you telling me that? That's my inner child competing with your ass because you got it easy. See, you don't say that shit to a kid.
Okay, never mind. I've said that a couple times. So I did say that a couple times. It was a little different though. little different. They was over there complaining about work they had to do, and they had and they all had laptops. Y'all got laptops. I'm trying to get this out. Research it, Google it, do what you gotta do. Ain't like you gotta go to the library.
Yeah, you kids got it easy. I had to walk 7 miles to the library when I was your age.
I ain't say 7 miles. I just said ain't like you gotta go to the library. Go ask the librarian, go look up some books, then go find the research. Then you gotta write that down. You gotta put where you got the research from. Because your teacher didn't believe that you got it from there. She think you just cheated on somebody else's stuff.
Yeah, now you can get Chat GPT to write your homework out for you. I love it.
Chat GPT trying to put me out of work. I don't like Chat GPT.
I love Chat GPT. You better get on that AI train. Get on it.
You and I I'm supposed to set up my session with you on that, remember?
Right, because you fight that AI train, it's gonna run you over. Get on the other side of learn how to program it, learn what it is, learn how to maneuver it. You can make Chat GPT. I made Chat GPT right out of PowerPoint presentation I'm giving in 2 weeks. Spit it out in about 30 seconds. I'm like, give me 10 slides on pre-employment things you need to do before you hire. Boom, 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 boom. Then, if you know Visual Basic, you can say, hey, put this in a presentation, program this in presentation slide using Visual Basic editor. Boom, 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 boom. PowerPoint. Choose your picture. Choose your background. Bam. Whole thing done about 45, no, not even 40, 20 minutes. Whole PowerPoint presentation. Like that. Don't fight it.
Sound like
I'm not fighting it. I'm not fighting it. I'm not fighting it. I just said I need to schedule a session. What some writers do not understand is that there's still need for writers. It doesn't eliminate the need for writers.
But it's a threat, though.
It's all in how you do. I'm figuring out it's all in how you approach it. But
I know one thing. I've seen a couple newspapers that was hiring for writers.
Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
there's still a need for writers.
Always.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what they're paying, but still a need for them.
Yeah, but if they don't get nobody to fill that spot, you go on to Chat GPT. Give me a story about toxic masculinity in Black America. You'll see that line. It's just like, Yeah, you don't see how I work. I got.
No. Oh, we still gotta end the show.
Okay. Yeah, let's end the show. Let's let everybody know. Yeah, everybody that came out. Listen, my only concerns is all you people out there with them big jobs and I'm not gonna say big. All the people out there in jobs that could possibly lose them doing the things you're doing, the sexual things you're doing at work. Stop. Now, if you out there, you having fun, you can't lose your job. I ain't mad at you. But if you about to lose your livelihood for some sex.
Right. You have to be able to pull yourself out of that tailspin. Once you feel yourself going into it, what I help people to do is to pull themselves out of that tailspin. Don't do that age regression. Pull yourself out, take a breath. I teach people how to future cast. Mm-hmm. That if I take this action right here, right now, how is it going to affect me later on down the road? It's called future casting.
Yeah, well, y'all better get on this future cast before you lose $80 million.
$80 million.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm still stuck on it. $80 million.
With some sex. You could have, $80 million that you had, you could have went and bought you a private condo. And if you felt like blowing off some steam, you could have left where you was at, went to your little condo, had a room full of strippers, and did what you need to do, and they came back to work. Sometimes, because I understand, sometimes you got to release the nut, to go back to the brain.
Okay, Dennis. Okay.
If that's the case, you have to do things the smart way. You cannot jeopardize. Listen, I tell this to my homie all the time. Who, now he making big boy money. Now he making $100,000. I said, don't mess up that good money and come back down here to this record. All right. I tell him that all the time. I said, ain't nothing worth it. Mess up that good money to come back down to. You've been at this regular money where the struggle's at. Don't mess this up and come back down here to the struggle.
Yeah, but I don't deserve. I don't believe I deserve it.
But you got to see. That's what I taught you. You got to appreciate where you at. See all that old stuff you was doing, and you did all that. That was in the past when you was at that regular money. You had new money now. I ain't telling you buy no new stuff. I'm just telling you don't do the old stupid stuff you was doing when you was at the regular money.
I mean, that's what I'm telling you. It's a new level and there's a new devil. So
yes, it is. It's a new. You ain't never lied about that. It's a new level, new devil, and you ain't seen him yet, and he coming to slap you. You ain't lying about that.
Oof. That part.
Thank y'all for coming out. God bless. Great day.